Hey guys, this is Leo. I'm chewing gum, bringing you another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about something a little bit more serious, something a little bit more of a PSA, if you will, about something that happened to me and that I eventually found out happened to a couple of other people. Now I'm talking to you maybe a little bit lower than usual because my daughter is napping at the time, is usually when I get time to record something. And I thought it was very urgent and very, especially now when people are maybe thinking about making a little bit of extra money or maybe doing a little bit of winter cleaning because they need storage space for all the gifts they buy for all their family members and stuff like that. Maybe they find themselves trying to get rid of some of their video game collections or old tables because they want to buy a new table for the family that comes in for Thanksgiving. Obviously, you have all your apps, your OfferUp, Mercury, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, every place you can. If you want to sell something, it's probably there. My main reason for this video, though, is I had two experiences, one with PayPal and one with CashApp. I sold something through Facebook Marketplace. And basically what ended up happening was, let's start with PayPal. Facebook Marketplace, I put something up for sale. And basically what ended up happening, my sister got me this nice little festive pink drink that I actually really like. It's like champagne, but it's not called champagne. I don't know what it is, but it's like strawberry something. It's very nice, very good. It's okay. Put it up on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody reaches out and says, "Hey, yeah, I'm interested." All right, no problem. Usually for Facebook Marketplace, I take cash. I never take PayPal, never take Cash App. Usually it's just the way I've done it, not mainly for anything in particular, because of there have been no real reasons as to why I've done cash. I've just done cash. Is usually what everybody offers and usually what I take if I'm selling something on Facebook Marketplace. The thing is, this particular potential buyer, says, "Hey, listen, would PayPal be okay?" And I said, you know what, sure. They have I've used PayPal for years. I've sold a couple things on eBay. So the reason why I'm using Facebook Marketplace is because eBay charges sellers fees and they charge all these other processing fees that in reality, when it all comes down to it, I'm making less money selling on eBay than I am on Facebook Marketplace. It may take a little bit longer to get something sold on Facebook Marketplace or a place like OfferUp that also doesn't charge you for meeting up with someone in person. They do charge, if you, both places, OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace, both charge you, I believe, 10% if you get an item shipped out and bought through their Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp. Mercury is the same, and eBay, obviously, and Amazon as well charge a higher fee for selling something. But since a lot of the stuff that I put up for sale is just stuff that I randomly just want to sell, I leave it on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll leave it up there. If somebody sees it eventually, they're gonna buy it. Great, I have some extra money for me, either to I don't know, go out for lunch or go out for dinner, maybe if it's something a little bit more expensive, or maybe get a little bit of extra money for Christmas ornaments, as you can see my Nintendo Christmas ornaments here, or for my daughter for Christmas, or my niece whose birthday is coming up. So what ends up happening is, all right, we plan on meeting up. Usually I plan to meet up in front of a police precinct or somewhere public with a lot of cameras, a lot of people. It's just to be very safe for everyone involved. I like to be transparent when I meet up with somebody because, one, I don't like them coming to my house because I don't like them to know where I live, because God forbid, you don't know who you're meeting or who's out there buying whatever they're buying or what they're eyeing on or anything like that. So, if God forbid I'm selling a video game and the guy's a collector and knows I'm a collector, God forbid I'm not saying that, sketchy people exist and God forbid they come buy something from me at my house and then start, I don't know, I have no idea. You never know. And might, I don't know, break in or something and try to steal all my games and all my collections and stuff. So better safe than sorry, especially when I have a daughter in the house, and I try to prevent any kind of drama always. So going back to the PayPal story, I plan on meeting with the person. I'm like, all right, great. You know what? PayPal offers a seller's and a buyer's protection. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. He sends over the payment right away. He's like, hey, listen, I'm going to pay you ahead of time. And I'll meet you in like 15 minutes. All right, no problem. We meet up. Everything is good. He picks up whatever he has to pick up. I say, all right, no problem. Listen, do me a favor. Leave me a positive review on Facebook Marketplace. It definitely helps. It helps people trust who they're buying from. I'll leave you a positive review in return, just so that people can trust you as a buyer, so that so that nobody is, we help each other out and nobody's suspicious about selling to you or buying from me. It's helpful. I believe in the goodness of people, and I'm like, all right, no problem. I leave. A week later, I get a notification from PayPal, basically stating that the person I sold this specific item to, and the reason I'm not being specific is because it's still under review, the case, and I don't know if I want to, just in case they happen to see it, I don't want to ruin anything or anything like that, but I still think that, well, let me tell you what happens, and I'll tell you my opinion as to the case. I get an email basically stating that the person that paid me a week ago has filed a dispute with their bank and have taken the money out of my PayPal immediately. Basically just took it out, and they were just notifying me through email that they had taken the money that I had gotten from that person. And because I had already transferred it over to my bank account, I was now at a negative balance. Now, they're like, hey, listen, you have a negative balance. You may not be able to use all the features PayPal has to offer if you don't fix this, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, no problem. I'll hold off because, hopefully they asked me to send over any information that I have. So I sent them the whole messages through Facebook. At the time, maybe I should have taken a picture of him actually picking it up and all this other stuff. But at the time, like I said, I was like, all right, no problem, we're good. Like, I got the payment, there's a protection plan, like, I'm good. So I didn't know, I didn't think about like, hey, listen, sign this contract, let me film you taking it. Hey, what's your name? What's your date of birth? Yeah, all right, I think we're good now. So if for some reason something happens, hey, listen, I'm protected. I mean, maybe, hey, you know what? I would have a little bit more evidence than I do now. Unfortunately, the only thing I have are the messages, and it said that we met, and that's basically it. And that I have great reviews on Facebook Marketplace, and I've never had an issue with PayPal or Facebook or anything of any kind. So basically, I send them all of that information. I tell them exactly what happens, and they're like, all right, it's under review. It might take 30 days. It's been 2 months and a few weeks, and I've yet to hear anything about that case. They ended up sending me another email, basically telling me that they were attempting to collect the debt from me, and that if I did, that I basically needed to move my PayPal balance from being negative to positive. And basically, when I heard that kind of language, obviously is a little nerve-wracking, especially with somebody who has excellent, very, very good, excellent to the top credit. My credit is pristine. I pay all my balances out on time. I never had a late payment. I paid off all my student loans. Like, I am legit, like, very, very specific as to when it comes to my credit score, because it's just the way I am. I like to have a good reputation, especially for my credit score, especially, when I end up buying a house and all this other stuff. So I was like, all right, well, this hopefully, if anything, if it goes to collections or anything, then my credit score is gonna get damaged. So you know what? Let me just take the money from my bank account and let me just transfer it over, and and basically just wait for a solution. And hopefully one day I go into PayPal and I log in and I'm up the amount of money that I was negative of. So it was a substantial amount of money, not $1,000, but still substantial, in the hundreds, and something that I could have used right now during the holidays and all of this other stuff. But that's a lesson learned, and that's something that I hope I can prevent somebody, even if it's just one person who's watching this, say, hey, you know what? If I'm gonna sell and you're okay with the fees, Mercury, eBay are the top places to go. Amazon, Walmart, they charge a lot of fees, but with those fees comes a lot of protection. You're gonna get your money straight from the payer to you, so there's no ifs, ands, or buts about anything. So I thought that once I had the money in PayPal, that my money was good. But I was like, all right, well, no problem. Like, here you go. Here's your item, and I'll receive my payment, and we're good. I didn't think that a week later he was gonna do it's a chargeback is the actual term, which means he went to his bank institution, financial institution, and basically said, hey, somebody else made these charges under my name. I didn't do this, so I'm gonna need you to cancel whatever transaction happened through PayPal, and whatever. And I think there's an investigation going on. According to PayPal, they charged me a $15 fee in order for them to fight for me. I paid it, and still waiting and hoping to see at least a solution. And I will definitely update you when it comes to that. But it's something that I honestly didn't think was gonna happen. I figured, hey, I got my payment, I'm good, I have a seller's protection, But basically when I called them and asked them, hey, what's going on with this? They said, oh, well, because he went to his bank and didn't complain through us, which means us through PayPal, the company didn't file a complaint through PayPal, that their protection is limited when it comes to them, the buyer or whoever makes the payment, filing a complaint with their bank account or with their financial institution, because then they take charge of the investigation, and it no longer falls on the hands of PayPal. It falls on the hands of the financial institution, and therefore they make the decision. Therefore they tell the decision to PayPal, and PayPal just basically tells me the decision. They said for the $15 they're fighting for me, or they're disputing the charge back for me. I don't know what that means, and I haven't reached out. I reached out once, and they said that the decision was going to be made for Monday, and Monday came and went, and it's been like a month since, and I try not to think about it. So hopefully one day, maybe on Christmas, my account will be positive again, but I'm not holding my breath. Unfortunately, that money may be lost. Not only the money, but the actual merchandise that I sold might also be gone. So I'm just like, it's a loss for me. And unfortunately, I got to count my blessings and know that, I have a beautiful daughter, health, ornaments, Christmas. Unfortunately, I can't think about it, and I can't let it stress me out as much, because at the end of the day, there are more important things. Luckily for me, I could do without that money. Obviously, it would be nice to have it, especially now for the holidays. Family comes over, you could do something nice. I'm still gonna do something nice. It's money that was gonna go into the savings account, and it pays for my daughter's tuition. It could have been money that I could have, at the end of the day, it was wrong. And I don't know if the person that reached out to me on Facebook, whose name on Facebook was exactly the same as it was on PayPal, got scammed, if he got hacked on his Facebook account and then got hacked as well on his PayPal account because he might have had the same password. I don't know. It could have happened. At the end of the day, I don't know. But that makes, at least for PayPal, they're attempting to fight for it, but it still doesn't protect me as the seller as much as I thought it did. And it is a little frustrating to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to pay my 10% fee or my 12% fee or my 15% fee or my 20% fee and sell directly on these sites that sell my items faster, but also charge me so much in fees that my profits are almost non-existent. But at least I don't lose all of my money and all of my merchandise when it comes to this. And that's the problem when you're using these apps for people you don't know on the internet, because you have no idea who these people are and you have no idea what they're willing to do, or because they don't know me, they don't care about me, you know what I'm saying? So caution and use precaution. And if you're going to sell it to somebody, make sure you look at their profile, just ask more questions. Hey, you know what, write up a contract, something like that. But then again, you would still have to find a lawyer. You would still have to, if they do a chargeback, if they file a complaint through PayPal might be able to be like, listen, you're good, you can keep your money, you're fine. But if they go straight to the bank, that's like, I feel like a lot of people probably do that, and it's frustrating and very sad, and it's unfortunate, but at least I can make this video and let you know about it. The second time it happened was through CashApp. Now CashApp, PayPal happened first, and then a month later, somebody reached out to me on Facebook Marketplace. He's like, listen, hey, I don't have the cash with me right now, but listen, I'm in your area, would you accept CashApp? And I was like, oh, CashApp, CashApp is like cash, it's like, at least that's how they advertise it, that's how they say it. He's like, listen, it's like basically cash, I'm saying it's almost impossible to, once you make a payment to somebody, it's basically almost impossible to get your money back, because it's basically like exchanging cash. That's how they advertised it. That's how I read it when I briefly looked it up when I was in the area, when he was in the area, and I happened to be in the area, and I was like, oh, you know what, yeah, let's meet up. I'll meet you in such and such place. And he was like, all right, no problem. It looks like it seems to be a trend, and now I'm looking at it, now that I see it, now that I'm thinking about it as I speak with you, with my hands, and seems like it might be like a pattern. It might be something that they do, that they know. Like, all right, let's yeah, listen, I'm gonna pay you right now so that you can meet me, and which was nice, which is like it gives you that sense of security, like, oh, I just got paid, all right, I think I'm good, there's nothing to worry about. And then for Cash App, especially, PayPal was a little different, but I had the seller's protection, so I was like, all right, no problem. But Cash App doesn't offer any of that, and also it says it's basically like cash. So I was like, all right, once it's received by me, I'm good. I don't have to worry about it. It's my money. So all right, let's do it. Yeah, Cash App, no problem. Let's do it. He offered Venmo as well, but I preferred Cash App basically because of the fact that it was cash, like cash. And like I said, I usually use cash because cash, I have it. You just gotta check, make sure it's not fake, and then that's it. You deposit it into the bank account, you're good. But Cash App, I figured, all right, no problem. It's electronically in my Cash App account, no problem. We met up, no problem. Nice kid. Seemed like a nice kid. His voice seemed a little nervous, and that should have tipped me off. But I was just like, he's probably shy. He was like an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid. Unfortunately, hopefully, that doesn't mean he is in a life of doing stuff like this. If he is scamming somebody else or scamming me out of my items or using somebody else's account or whatever the case may be, hopefully he turned his life around, because he seemed like a good kid, a little shy. Now I see that maybe it was a little nervous because of what he was planning on doing after, or I'm not sure, but let me tell you what happened. So I get the money, I meet up with him, exchange the products, and that's it. All right, no problem, man. Later. later. And then a week later, I get a notification from Cash App saying your money has the money you received on November such and such has been refunded to the buyer because he made a dispute with his financial institution in regards to this payment. That basically means that he didn't make it, that somebody made it without his permission, and that he was filing a dispute with his financial institution, and that his money had been refunded. Or I don't know if the money got refunded to him, but it definitely got taken out of my bank account. I saw the negative right away, and I was like, wow, this is impossible. This can't be real. This can't be happening to me a second time. I'm very, very careful too, but with it being the holiday season and a lot of things usually pick up, I was very busy at that day. I was very busy the PayPal day, but the PayPal day, it hadn't happened to me yet, and I was like, seller's protection, I'm good. But this one I was a little rushed, but again, Cash App, it's cash, electronic cash, you know what I'm saying? Instant cash. And I looked it up very briefly, and it said, hey, make sure you know who you're paying, and make sure you know it's the right person you're paying, because it's almost impossible to get your money back. But apparently it's not, because, hey, guess what? In a week, the person got their money back, or, it got taken out of my bank account, and now, again, I don't have the money, and again, I don't have that merchandise, and now I'm like, whoa, now I'm like really in the negative here, like, I'm taking a loss, a bigger loss now because of this, and I'm like, what is going on here? I reached out to customer service. Customer service was absolutely no help. I'm sorry, they were no help at all. They were basically saying, and I'll show you snippets of everything that, like, I've been showing you for everything else, like with Facebook and everything else, and PayPal, basically saying that there's nothing they could do once the money is returned to a buyer, or I guess a sender of money or whatever. They can't do anything. They can't reopen it. They can't dispute it. And basically I asked them, what could I do? And they were like, you can reach out to the person who sent you the money and try to resolve it with them. I was like, they're not responding to any of my messages. Obviously they're a scammer. Obviously they did this on purpose, and now they're not going to respond to my messages. That, or again, like I said, somebody could have potentially, even though on Facebook their name matched exactly the same as on Cash App. Now, when I do look at that person's Cash App, though, however, which I didn't realize, and I should have, they had only made that account the day that they bought whatever they bought from me. So basically the account was only open for a day, maybe a few hours, which could have tipped me off and said, hey, you know what, this is a little sketchy. You know what, listen, when you get cash, I'm more than happy to meet up with you, but if not, like, no Venmo, no Cash App, no PayPal, no nothing. Like, now I'm gonna be very strict. Like, if I'm selling something, it's gonna be either through eBay, Amazon, Mercury, and if I'm selling through Facebook Marketplace, which I do like, because at the end of the day, I don't mind meeting up with people and getting to know other people in the community. If I'm selling video games, like gamers in the industry, technology in the industry, old furniture, parents, if I'm selling an old toy like this little shopping cart here, if I'm selling that to another parent, like, hey, how old is your daughter, how old is your son, hey, yeah, thank you for taking this off my hands. I have no room for anything because I get toys all the time. My family spoils my daughter, and I get toys all over the place. I have so many things, and I sell them all the time. Thank God I thought about putting up the snoo up on Facebook Marketplace. Thank God I didn't sell it, and thank God it wasn't that, because that's like, it sells for like $1,100, and if you don't know what the snoo is, it rocks the baby to sleep. If it starts crying, and if it only just wants to be carried, it puts it back to sleep with white noise and like moving it around. It's great. It saved me a lot of sleep, and it was great. Luckily, that was not what I sold, because I would have lost a lot of money and a very expensive product that I could have potentially just given away if I wanted to, or given it to another friend or family member who might need it, who might not have the money to afford something like that. So the point of me making this video here is to just warn you to be more careful. I'm not telling you that you can't use PayPal and you can't use CashApp, because sometimes that's the only thing you can do. But if you're going to sell on Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp, which is another popular, I guess, community-based, or you're selling stuff to someone where you're going to physically meet up with them, and they're most likely going to give you cash, unless in my instances they're going to offer you PayPal or Cash App or Venmo or whatever. Make sure you know that their account has been open longer than a day. Mistake number one. Two, see any red signs? I didn't see any red flags. Unfortunately, I didn't see any red flags. I think that what you should do is just not accept it. Unfortunately, it's how I feel based on this. It's only been like a month. I hate getting burned, and it feels a little bit like, hey, I trusted this person, and hey, guess what? Now, like, hey, you know what? The world it can be an evil place. As much as you want to be nice to everybody, and as much as you want to think everybody is good, like, it's not like that. People are not like that. So it could have been something that I could have given away on Twitter, something I could have given away on YouTube, something I could have used that. If I knew it was going to go for nothing and I was going to lose that item, then guess what? You know what? Just give it away for free. So my advice, if I could give it, which I am actually, would be to only accept cash, and only accept cash if you're comfortable knowing, if you're going to sell something expensive like a snoo, because you don't need it anymore and it's an expensive item, and hey, I could use $1,100 right now because my baby doesn't fit here anymore, and I'm I could use some diapers and formula or anything else. If you're comfortable with feeling money and knowing what's fake or not, or maybe meet up with them at a bank and say, hey, listen, I have it right here, just wait for me, come in with me to the teller. We'll deposit the money. Once they tell me the money is good, we'll go back to my car, and I'll give you the snoo, or I'll give you whatever it is that you're selling. If you are comfortable with money, hey, I prefer cash. Cash, at the end of the day, it's yours. Once you hand them the item is theirs. They hand you the money is yours. There's no like, oh, listen, I want a refund or anything like that, unless you specifically state, you can get a refund in Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp, but usually all sales are final in those type of markets, because it's secondhand markets, you know what I'm saying? So that's my advice. My advice is, don't use PayPal, don't use Cash App, don't use Venmo unless you're paying a friend for dinner, or you're paying a friend who got you something, and you're like, hey, listen, here's $15, here's $25, here's $100. Hey, one of my coworkers, I ended up getting him a Nintendo Switch OLED. So I was like, all right, here's the receipt. Here's how much you have to pay. It's $389 after taxes. So just give me $389, and we'll meet up at work. He paid me the $389. I gave it to him at work, and that was it. He was having a hard time getting it for his cousin, so I was like, I'll try to get it, and I ended up getting it from Best Buy, I believe, and that's it. And that was it. And guess what? There's going to be no chargeback, because I know where he works. He works with me. You know what I'm saying? He's my friend. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's different. But if it's a stranger online, like, you know what? Cash, and if you're not comfortable with meeting up with anybody and you're not on Facebook Marketplace, then Mercury offers less seller's fees. eBay is always great. Like, can you get scammed there? Absolutely, you can definitely get scammed, but there's a little bit more protection. The way the money gets to your account is protected. Obviously, you can still get scammed, but then you gotta just make sure you turn on your settings so that your buyer isn't a 0 star or has never gotten feedback. Obviously, that's unfair for new buyers and obviously new sellers as well, because they have no feedback, so they're a little bit on a disadvantage. But at the end of the day, if you want to be extra careful, just make sure you turn on your settings and only sell to verified buyers, verified sellers, and people with positive feedback, so that you don't get scammed and screwed in these websites that have more protection, but again, they offer a fee for it and you're going to make less money for whatever you're selling. Again, it's unfortunate, especially during the holidays. It's unfortunate. I get it. People need money, and I guess they do whatever they got to do to get it. But I wish they would have told me. I would have given them a discount. They could have talked to me. They could have been like, "Hey, listen, can you sell this to me for less?" Absolutely. It's a shame. It's a real shame. But that is my takeaway from this. If I ever sell anything again on Facebook Marketplace or on OfferUp, where I'm actually meeting up with somebody, and obviously it's going to be a stranger, I'm going to just and only take cash. Only. And it has to be in a public place, probably a police precinct right in front or on the parking lot with a lot of cameras, and I want to make sure that everything is in the up and everything is good, and that's it. No PayPal, no Venmo, no CashApp. As much as they advertise that it's instant and that's it, it's like cash, it's not. And if they charge, and if you do a chargeback, which they did in both instances in PayPal and CashApp, you will get screwed and you will lose your merchandise and you will lose your money. Now, I don't know what's going on with the PayPal case. It still says under review as of today. So if that ever comes back and it says I lost, or they end up for a miracle returning my money, then hey, I'll let you know, and then I'll be like, hey, you know what, PayPal, even with a chargeback, they freaking help me out. If not, then I'm still gonna unrecommend it. I bought things from people on Twitter, on Facebook Marketplace, through PayPal. So I've used it as a buyer. I've used it, which is why I was okay with using it as a seller. I was like, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. Just pay me, because I've used it myself through Facebook and Twitter. Twitter's not even a marketplace, but somebody was selling some PlayStation Vita games, and was very nice. Was selling a humongous collection. I picked a couple of games from there, and was like, hey, what's your PayPal? And they gave it to me. I sent it over. I could have gotten burned too. They could have just kept my stuff. They could have just kept my money, and they probably didn't send me the money. But again, they have buyer protection. Now, what is buyer protection? I don't know, because I haven't had to deal with that, and hopefully I never do. But they do have buyer protection, and the person ended up sending me all the games, and they were beautiful. They were gorgeous, and they were all from Europe. They came from Europe. From the United Kingdom, to be specific, and they were in great condition. They were packed very well. They sent me a tracking number as soon as they sent it over. So that's the kind of service I want to provide somebody if I'm ever selling them a game or something like that. I want to be as transparent as possible, and that's what I thought I was doing with accepting PayPal and Cash App for this one instance, and I got screwed, unfortunately. And it happens. It's a tough life lesson, an expensive tough lesson, but if I'm going to keep doing this, I'm glad I learned it now and here with a not as expensive item than with a more expensive item that I could potentially be down thousands and thousands of dollars. So it's definitely something to consider. But again, if you're comfortable with cash and uncomfortable with PayPal and Cash App and Venmo because of these instances that these buyers can go to their financial institutions and request a chargeback, then go with cash, because that's what I'm going to be going with if I'm selling somebody in person. It's going to be cash and cash only. You know, if I'm buying off somebody on Twitter, that person I specifically bought from that I told you about the PS Vita games, I looked at their profile. They had a profile for years, so many followers, very trustworthy, it seemed, and obviously I was right, and my gut reaction to it was correct. Facebook, I've done it as well. PayPal, they sent it right over with a tracking number. I obviously looked at their profile and everything was great, and I did the same as a seller, but fortunately it can't always be the case. And again, I don't know if the person himself was scamming me, or they legitimately got hacked, and that's what happened. So regardless, I'm gonna leave the video here as is. Again, please, if you're selling stuff, if you're meeting up with people online, if you're trying to make some extra money because you're buying PlayStation 5s or Xbox Series X's, or you're selling off your collection of PlayStation Vita games, or you're selling off old retro games like your N64s, your Wii's, your Wii U's, your Nintendo's entertainment systems, your Super Nintendos, your Sega Genesis, anything. If you're selling anything, just be careful and just make sure that you don't get scammed, and make sure you check and double check. And if you have to write something down, take pictures, take a video, any kind of evidence that'll help you if you end up wanting to take it to court or go see a lawyer or something. The more evidence, the more video evidence, pictures, everything else you have, the better it is for you to get your money back. Again, my name is Leo. I'm Chewing Gum. Follow me on Twitter, PSN, Instagram. I love video games. I talk video games. I talk about a couple of other things that interest me, but mainly video games. Very approachable. So just if you have any questions, or if you have anything that happened to you like this, please leave a comment down below. I'm really curious to see what the outcome was, and if you ever heard anything back from PayPal, if it was specifically a chargeback, especially if you ever got your money back, if you ever got your money back from CashApp, and if you ever fought it, how did you go about that, so that I can do the same and hopefully have the same outcome if you were successful. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really much appreciate you guys watching, but I also appreciate that I'm able to at least use this to provide you with some information, so that hopefully the same thing doesn't happen to you. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great holiday season. And I will leave you with my two little Nintendo ornaments playing in the background. Guys, please be safe. Take care. Happy holidays.